All right, welcome back to the File Scoreboard podcast. I'm your host, Jared Gaming, here with your co-host,
Adam the Atomizer.
and today we are going to be reviewing F-Zero Climax, the final installment of the F-Zero franchise on the Game Boy Advance. Now, first we will talk about what experience we had with this game this week. For me, that's not a lot, honestly. I spent most of my time doing other things, laundry, dishes, working on a Mario 64 mod, etc. So I only played about 15 to 20 minutes. I feel like it was enough to go off of, but I really wish I could have played more just so I had a more solid foundation for it. And I might play more after this because I still need to get like the podcast recording. Now, what about you, Atomizer?
So I was able to get a half an hour gameplay done. Like he said, I've been kind of busy this week doing work, schoolwork. Then I've had my stream schedule. A lot of finales have been happening, but the half an hour was able to get me enough experience to weigh up the options of a few different modes on that game.
Alright, that sounds good. We both have very little experience with this game, but being a racing game, I feel like as long as you had enough to complete at least one Grand Prix, you kind of get the general gist of the game, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly.
And I did complete about 1.5 Grand Prix. I got interrupted in the middle of like the second Grand Prix, and I just never continued after that.
Gotcha.
So I think it's enough to go off of, but I'm sure there's way more in this game, and maybe if it deserves more justice, maybe we'll come back to it later or something. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
But we will start with gameplay. Atomizer, would you like to take it away today?
Sure, I'll take away on gameplay. So, if you don't know, an F-Zero racing game is a little bit different from your typical racing games because, like, obviously you have your 3, 2, 1, go, and F-Zero is meant to be all about high speed, higher speed than anything like either Need for Speed or Mario Kart or maybe even Kirby Air Riders. I don't know. I haven't compared the speeds for those yet, but you get through however many laps based on the course. There are little boost pads on the ground, obviously, but when you cross the finish line, that allows you to you have a health bar, so keep that in mind. But when you cross the finish line for the first lap, you're allowed to use that health bar as boost power. So you use the B button to activate your boost power, and for a set amount of time, like maybe like a few seconds, it'll start like draining your health to give you a speed boost. So that's an interesting catch-up mechanic. But like, different cars have different stats, meaning different cars have different levels of boost power that can actually help you out. I played as the Blue Falcon, which had like probably one of the lower boost power rankings, so it didn't really help all that much. So, but it's an interesting mechanic to use when you actually have control of the car. That being said, the game does tend to be so fast that if you're not used to it, you're going to be crashing into all the walls, losing even more health than if you were just boosting. So, yeah, that's pretty much the gameplay of the game. But as for how it felt, like, F-Zero games do bring an interesting new flavor to the racing genre. Because, like I said, it's high speed. You got the you have lives and the possibility of completely crashing out of the Grand Prix if you're not careful. I've done it on previous F-Zero games, and fortunately for me, I didn't do it on this one because I had enough experience with previous F-Zero games. That being said, it was still tricky because I wasn't used to how this game felt. But I digress. And beyond the Grand Prix, I did discover this one other mode called the Editor mode. I don't know if you got to experience this at all, Gyroid, or even saw it on the menu.
I saw it, but I didn't really have time to look at it.
So basically, the Editor mode, you would think it's a vehicle editor. It's a course editor. You get to build your own race courses.
That's fun.
I didn't get to do much of it with my time, but I did start it, and you could get a lot of creative liberty with that. You get the choice of like 2 different kinds of straight pieces, and then 4 curved pieces, obviously. But within those categories are a lot of different pieces because there's a lot of variety for F-Zero courses. And they give you a grid, and you can place either 1x1, 2x2, or 3x3 versions of the pieces. And that's basically how you build the course. Like, you can build it basically however you want, whatever shape you want it to be. If you want, you could like build it in the shape of a hand. If you want it, I don't know. But that mode and then the way the races felt combined gives me a gameplay score of 20 out of 25.
Nice. That's a pretty high score there. So.
It's because I enjoy F-Zero games, honestly.
Oh yeah. The only F-Zero experience before this I had was, I think it was Smash Bros. Brawl had a demo mode where you could like demo old games.
Mm-hmm.
And so I played one of the old F-Zeros on a demo on Smash Bros. Brawl. And that was when I was a kid, so I barely remember it.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway. So my experience here was, as I said, 1.5 Grand Prix. And it's very confusing at first because it doesn't really explain, at least I didn't see it explain anywhere, how the mechanics and stuff worked.
Maybe it would have if it hadn't been in Japanese.
I guess that's fair. This is a Japanese release. But I did figure it out after like 1 or 2 races. Like the first race I was very confused. I didn't know how anything worked. I didn't understand like what the different pads on the ground were and what they enabled. I didn't realize until like 3 or 4 races in how the speed boost worked, like when you get the speed boost and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So the first Grand Prix I gradually started like coming back and learning as I went. So it was like, so I did start getting better as I went, and except for one of the races, I don't remember which one, but one of the races had like a spot where you jump off one part and onto another part.
There were a couple like that. Like Port Town had the most prominent one, because I can say that because I was literally just playing it a moment ago. So Port Town was the one that you had to go on with that jump, but then like White Wolf had a secondary one with like a healing pad that you could go on if you wanted to. But yeah.
No, I was referring to the one where you had to go on it.
Then Port Town.
Yeah, but I got confused. And what I did was I jumped off of it, and I was like, oh no, I don't see anywhere to land. And then I turned my car and landed on the track from 1st place to 24th place.
You landed back on the track somewhere else?
I landed on it behind the rest of the racers.
I didn't even know that was possible.
Well, it is. I was very confused, and I was like, what is going on?
When
I did not know where I was
jumps,
going
it
to
will
go.
almost always be straight ahead. just for the future.
Well, yes, I figured that out after the first time. And I was
Figured
like,
it out the hard way.
Yes, the hard way. But yes, I jumped off and I landed in 24th place, so that was fun. Took me like 3 or 4 races to even get to 1st place, and then I immediately squandered that whole lead. But I mean, it was fairly fun. I did like the boosting mechanic, and having a mechanic to like gain health back by going on a certain like, it's not like a speed pad, but it's kind of like a speed pad, like a little like area you go across, and it'll like regain your health. It was an interesting concept, and I enjoyed it. So I gave gameplay an 18 out of 25.
Oh, you're not far off from mine.
Nope, not really. So next we will move on to enjoyability. So as I said, enjoyability, it's well, not enjoyability, but like I didn't play a ton of it, but I did enjoy my time while I played it. Like the first couple races was a bit rough, but once I understood it and got the gist of it, I was having fun. It is a very different take on the racing genre. Like I don't think any other game really takes racing in the same way. I will say the annoying part is the way the stages generate. Like, it doesn't generate the whole stage at once. Like, it kind of, like, generates as you're driving, so it's a little confusing, like, visually. I don't know if you felt that way.
Kind of like, but that's kind of like the thing with F-Zero games. Like the camera angle has always been kind of weird.
Yeah, I feel like if they made a modern version of this title, it could probably be a lot better. Like, they could probably, like, redo it. Like, maybe change the camera angle to, like, a more third-person kind of angle
And
instead of whatever
the closest
they do it now.
the closest one they have, I think, is the GameCube release, which is not the most modern one, but has more like 3D modeling of tracks and such, which has a different camera angle.
Yeah. I would also be interested to see what F-Zero 99 was about, because that was a Switch release similar to Mario.
That's a fun game. I have F-Zero 99. I have a fun time with that.
Oh, I've never played it because I didn't.
It's basically
have
a battle royale F-Zero game.
Yeah, I didn't have a Switch by the time it came out. Like, my Switch broke and I never got a new one.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was my only real negative from enjoyability, was like the camera angle and the confusion. But that still leaves my enjoyability score at a 16 out of 25.
Okay, nice. Alright, so, enjoyability for me. As you heard me say before, I very much enjoy F-Zero games. Like, my first ever one probably would have been, like, that demo that he was talking about for Smash Bros. Brawl. But then from there, I jumped to F-Zero 99, and racing against, like, 98 other players at once gave me a bit of perspective for how the games worked. So, I was able to carry that into this one this week. So, using my experience with the controls, I didn't have as hard of a time adapting to this one, but that being said, it was still pretty tricky. But that doesn't mean I didn't enjoy it, because, like, I still felt like I was making good progress, even if I did start slipping on the rankings as each race went on, because I am very impulsive and very, like, I will turn too fast and start bouncing off the walls, like bang, 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 and then all of a sudden I lost half my health. Like, where'd it go? So with that, like, I have fun with this game, even if I'm losing. But that's why my enjoyability score is at 18 out of 25.
Nice. All right. So, you want to take it away with overall feel?
I think I will. So, for overall feel, this one I basically grade off graphics, audio, and controls. So, talking about the controls, pretty much your standard F-Zero game. You use your A button to go forward, you use your B button to do the boosty thing, the control stick to go side to side. But something I forgot to explain, because I learned this in F-Zero 99, like, the L and R buttons are typically used to, like, make the turns a little bit sharper. But I didn't feel that in this game for some reason. Like, even though they said the L and R buttons did something, I couldn't read it because I can't speak Japanese.
Wait, you didn't get the version that had some English translation? It said like slide attack or something like that.
No. I'm using the Switch version.
Oh. Hey, there's like an English translated version that I downloaded.
Well, that would have been nice to know.
I just assumed they would have had the English version on the Switch.
Nope.
It's not.
Well, random side tangent, just letting you guys know. The original Mario Picross was on the SNES emulator for the Switch, entirely Japanese. And I played the full thing because I used like Google Translate or something like that, or the Translate app. But I digress. I did not know what the L and R buttons did simply because of the fact that it was in Japanese and there was no translation available for me. But that being said, like, I did even when I did use the buttons from my previous experience, it didn't feel like they did anything, which kind of like threw me off a little bit. So that's kind of like gotta take my score a little bit. Graphics, well, I mean, well, they look better than most F-Zero games do. It's still like an F-Zero game, so the graphics were more like a repeating background set on a 360-degree rotating thing, depending on where you're facing. Like, I wish it had a little more variety in the background, but hey, beggars can't be choosers. And then as for audio, the audio is nice enough. Like, you get the feel of where you're racing. just by the music and by the color of the background. But like I said, there's not much detail in it originally. So, with all these complaints, my overall feel score is a 15 out of 25.
Interesting. So, my overall feel is, well, unfortunately, I played it on my phone's emulator, but I have what's it called, like an attachment that allows me to like play it like a controller.
Oh, you have one of those?
Yeah, I bought one of those a while ago because I knew that this might happen where I'm not gonna have time to play and I need to play with like a controller. I played Banjo-Kazooie like that too, and it worked just fine.
Gotcha.
But like I don't know if it was my controller or if it was just the L and R buttons didn't do anything. But I really couldn't tell if the L and R buttons were doing anything. I thought it was my controller, but hearing you say it as well makes me think maybe it just didn't really work as well as they intended.
It's a lot more prominent in the F-Zero 99 games. You can actually see it working, like little sparks on the ground and everything. But I just didn't see that in this game.
Yeah. And then, like as I said about the way the world generates, it's a bit difficult to really parse where you're going if you've never played the game and don't know the tracks. And so that really also detracts my score. And that's all I really got to say about that category. But funnily enough, I also have a 15 out of 25.
How about that? Alright, so would you like to go ahead with replayability?
Yeah, I'll go for replayability. So, I obviously didn't play a lot, as is the theme of this episode. This is the first time that I've really not played more than half an hour before a gameplay before a podcast, but I was just very busy. And so replayability for me, it seemed pretty good. I don't know how much you could really want to replay the same the same Grand Prix over and over again. But
well, I guess with higher difficulties then maybe. Same thing applies to Mario Kart games.
Yeah, exactly. But I feel like I enjoyed it, and I'm kind of tempted to come back to it. Honestly, it was a fun time, so I may come back to it. So it's not as low as I would have put it if I It's very average run of the mill score. I don't think it's like I would always replay this game all the time, but it's also not like I wouldn't come back to it. I'm probably gonna come back to it just to give it a better shake.
Right.
So, with all that being said, my replayability score is a 15 out of 25.
Interesting. Okay. So, for replayability for me, it's basically kind of the same thing in that, you can only play the same number or the same track so many times, but having different difficulties does make it a little more challenging, which I can appreciate. But myself personally, I do enjoy F-Zero games enough that I might come back to it if I have time and have nothing else to play. But more so than the other games I've already said that for. Like I said, I know I tend to say that a lot. I'm going to admit that. So, yeah, especially given the fact that the course editor actually intrigues me, so I might come back and build one course, race on it, and then call it good as well. So that also is going to affect my score a little bit. So, I'm going to say, funnily enough, my replayability is also a 15 out of 25.
That's pretty amusing. We both had 15s on both of these last two.
This does bring my score overall to a 68 out of 100.
And my score is a 64 out of 100.
Oh dang, we're pretty close.
Yeah.
This puts
It's
us
pretty
solidly in
close.
B tier.
Yeah, I think so. Let me double check the scores. Yes, 51 to 75. So we're both solidly in B tier. 64, 68 are both above Yoshi and below Limbo. So it's got a solid place on the board. It just depends.
While I would say put it above Limbo, I am willing to keep it where it is. Because I
Well,
know,
yes,
because I know you enjoyed Limbo.
unfortunately for you, Limbo has a fairly high spot on the board,
I know.
and
Like
that's not
I
really gonna
can't afford to
change.
keep I can't afford to keep being like biased against Limbo, because like you did enjoy Limbo, so I'm willing to keep F-Zero a little bit below Limbo.
Yeah, you just gotta pretend that that Limbo is not there.
I
Like
know.
if you ignore the fact that Limbo exists there, Star Wars Plug and Play is at a 72, Yoshi's at a 63, and it's solidly in the middle of those two as well.
Hmm.
So, what score do we want to give this? It's 64 to 68, and it's 63 is Yoshi, so it's anywhere above that.
Let's just.
I'd
Actually, let's hear yours.
I'd
First.
be willing to split the difference and go 66 right in the middle of the two.
I was gonna say, yeah. Like, why don't we just like slap a 66 on there and put it in the middle?
Works for me. All right, and now I believe it is your turn to choose a game this week.
That's right. So, I was inspired by your choice for this week because of the fact that, like, well, other than the fact that I was just like rifling through the games in general, I saw a game that I don't think either of us have really played, but a franchise that we have both had experience with. So, this week's game is the classic Super Mario Kart.
Which system is that on?
SNES.
So, is it one of the ones that's 4 players? Because like I could have sworn we played like a really ancient.
No, we played the we played the 64 version.
Oh, we didn't play the SNES version.
No, SNES is only 2 players.
Oh, okay. Because like I was gonna say, we did play some ancient Mario Kart games back when we were doing that one tournament.
We played Mario Kart 64, but we didn't have a SNES / didn't have access to the SNES, so any SNES courses that we played were just from other consoles.
Oh, okay.
So I wanted us to get the feel of the original, how it felt to play it, what the graphics were like, and basically how the original SNES title worked compared to the new ones.
Well, that works for me.
Alright. Yeah, so that's my choice this week.
Super Mario Kart. Very interesting. So, that should be it for the podcast. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked it, please like, comment, and subscribe. And check out our Patreon, patreon.com/File Scoreboard. We upload videos there every once in a while. It's usually our gameplay of the games that we're describing in these podcasts. We're a little bit behind. Honestly, at a certain point, we might just start releasing unedited VODs because we're getting pretty far behind. I don't know about you, Atomizer.
Sadly, we just end up getting so busy, I don't have time to edit these things.
Yeah, exactly. I already have to edit the podcast, and then I have other things that I like to do. I have, to be completely honest with you, I have a little bit too many side hobbies that I like to do. So, anyway, yeah. So, we currently have like maybe 5 or 6 up there at the moment. So, if you want more content from us, go check it out. You can subscribe for only $5 a month. Or if you're a free member, you also still have access to the podcast feed on Patreon, as well as you get the podcast feed from Apple and Spotify as well. So make sure you go check us out over on those platforms. And check out Atomizer on YouTube or Twitch, and check out my own channel as well. And we will see you guys next time. Later.
See ya!